Do you see anything?
Welcome to Drawing Nature In. Today, we will be discussing rhythm amongst other things that pop up. So thank you for joining us. So yeah, we can go ahead and start our meditation if you would like. Ooh, I see you have some stuff framed there. That looks nice.
I did 6 new paintings.
Huh?
I did 6 new paintings and threw
Oh,
out
wow.
6 pieces of sculpture.
Cool.
A few of them fell apart, and I don't know, something overtook me. But these aren't actually framed; they're cupboard doors.
Cool. Oh, they're cupboard doors. Cool.
Yeah, they're cupboard doors. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, I avoid.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, dude, it's been exhausting. Let me tell you.
That looks nice.
Overtaken by the spirit. Even though I was supposedly sick, right? Haha. Yeah, right. Staying up till the wee hours painting. Yes, it's been interesting. But yeah, let's do our meditation. We can talk more about it. It definitely has its own rhythm for sure. That's the way it is, the art thing.
For sure.
You think you know what you're doing, and then boom, the rhythm takes over.
Boom, the rhythm. My hair's all crazy.
All right. Here we go. We're just gonna sit down, feet on the floor, hands in your lap or in a mudra, or you can put your right hand over your heart if you want. Sorry, I'm coughing, but just breathe deeply in and out through your nose. Try to imagine that there is earth energy coming up through your feet, coming up through your feet, up through your body. And sky energy coming down through the crown of your head, meeting at your heart. And that's what we're going to be doing today, is expressing that energy from the earth and the sky through our hearts. We're just going to ask the Creator to bless us with intuitive thought that we can channel, be the conduit for information that will help humanity during this time that we're going to be bringing down and solidifying in paint. And so it is.
This painting still working on.
I could read the volume.
Sure.
Rhythm. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tide. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates with the volume. The great fifth hermetic principle, the principle of rhythm, embodies the truth that in everything there is manifested a measured motion, a to and from movement, a flow and inflow, a swing forward and backward, a pendulum-like movement, a tide-like ebb and flow, a high tide and a low tide between the two poles manifest on the physical, mental, or spiritual planes. The principle of rhythm is closely connected with the principle of polarity described in the preceding chapter. Rhythm manifests between the two poles established by the principle of polarity. This does not mean, however, that the pendulum of rhythm swings to the extreme poles, for this rarely happens. In fact, it is difficult to establish the extreme polar opposites in the majority of cases, but the swing is ever toward first one pole and then the other. There is always an action and reaction, an advance and a retreat, a rising and a sinking, manifested in all of the airs and phenomena of the universe. Suns, worlds, men, animals, plants, minerals, forces, energy, mind, and matter. Yes, even spirit manifests this principle. Principle manifests in the creation and destruction of worlds, in the rise and fall of nations, in the life history of all things, and finally in the mental states of man. Beginning with the manifestations of spirit of the all, it will be noticed that there is ever the outpouring and the indrawing, the outbreathing and the inbreathing of Brahm, as the Brahmins word it. Universes are created, each their extreme low point of materiality, and then begin their upward swing. Suns spring into being, and then their height of power being reached, the process of retrogression begins, and after eons they become dead masses of matter, awaiting another impulse, which starts again their inner energies into activity, and a new solar life cycle is begun. And thus it is with all the worlds. They are born, grow, and die, only to be reborn. And thus it is with all things of shape and form. They swing from action to reaction, from birth to death, from activity to inactivity, and then back again. Thus it is with all living things. They are born, grow, and die, and then are reborn. So it is with all great movements, philosophies, creeds, fashions, governments, nations, and all else. Birth, growth, maturity, decadence, death, and then rebirth. The swing of the pendulum is ever evident. Don't fight it. In other words, it's going to happen.
Yep. The pendulum swings.
And
Don't fight it.
We're in a little retrogression now. Regression. Death. We'll see how long.
Like how I think it's interesting. It says all things die and are reborn again. So that implies reincarnation.
Right. Yep.
Which I like, the idea of reincarnation. I just wish we kept our memory every time we reincarnated.
Yeah,
We'd have a lot. I feel like humanity would be at a much higher consciousness level had we retained our memory. Would we die and regenerate?
Yeah, I'm sure that's something that's been occulted, how to do that.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it is, because there are people that can do it.
Right, like Hermes and other sages. So I'm sure it's doable. It's just that
Dude, There's that dude Patrick Flanagan who says he's the reincarnation of Nikola Tesla, and he remembers his whole life as Tesla.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And is he inventing things now?
He does cool stuff. He has some really super oxidizing pill you can take. It's like for, you know how, or it's like an antioxidant pill or something. I don't know. He's also the one that says, yeah, it's simple. The 5G thing's simple to fix. You just have to paint a special paint on all the 5G towers and it fixes the problem.
No, really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't want that to be fixed, though.
No, they're not going to do it. But he's like, yeah, I don't know why they don't use that paint because it's an easy fix. It's not even that expensive.
They want us to be. Yeah, they don't
right?
Want,
they don't want it. They don't want to fix it. It's not a problem to them.
No. It's their goal. It's their end game to have us die off. Unfortunately. We'll see.
You seem a little muffled. I don't know if it's your mic is or what's going on.
That?
I guess you're fine.
Wait a minute.
I'm probably just not used to listening to it like that. I got here last minute. Apologizing. I have to spend some time setting up here. Just flew in from Boston.
Yad. You didn't go see our friend Delaney, did you?
No, I didn't have time for any of that. I didn't have time for that. We were on Cape Cod most of the time.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Was it beautiful?
It was beautiful. I thought I captured ET craft when I was taking sunset pictures, but I'm after studying them and messing with my phone. I think it's just some weird anomaly that happens when you try to take pictures with the iPhone directly into the sun. So that disappointed me a little bit that I don't think it was actually ET craft. I'll show you the picture sometime, but pretty sure it's this weird anomaly that happens if you try to take a picture into the sun.
But you tried
unfortunately
it another time and then you got the same thing.
Well, it showed up in like 3 photos within 1 minute, but then the other day or the next day I was experimenting with my camera and it looked like I was getting a similar anomaly if I point the phone into the sun. So yeah, it was this weird green like thing was showing up.
Or maybe what it is that it's actually an ET craft that the iPhone picks up when you show it when you point it into the sun.
When you point it at the sun, maybe. And maybe there's just so many of them up there. That's why the next day when I was testing it out, one was showing up.
Yeah, that's possible. Right, it could be. There's a lot of stuff up there right now, I'll tell you. And some of it is not really explainable. It doesn't seem like it's a satellite.
Yeah, I was all excited. I was like, oh my God, I captured an ET vehicle or maybe some exotic technology that's ours, who knows? But then I think it's just some weird anomaly with the camera on the phone, but I'll do some more experimenting and stuff too. Because it was weird, like it was like this green spot, but if you zoom in on the green spot, there's a honeycomb pattern inside of it.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't have time to put the photos on my computer, so I can't show you guys, but maybe we'll look at them next week and check it out. See what we can discover.
Yeah, so my experience this week with rhythm is just this art thing. You know, it just takes over. Like basically, I don't know, something I just got really disgusted with a bunch of the work I had done. And I did a couple of those I printed those photographs out and I started working with them. And I don't know, just took over. Suddenly I was on a roll.
Happens.
Haven't been on a roll for many years. And so I thought, well, I'm going to try and do have six paintings and 6 sculptures. Yeah. The 6 of them aren't bad. But then one of them just fell apart in my hands. That was really annoying. I was like,
Okay.
So yeah, I would say that. And then the thing about it is, it doesn't, like, I don't get to go to bed early or anything. It's like, you know, when it takes over, that's it. But I haven't had it for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, you know, sitting here making those sculptures like woke it up or something, because I just got to a point with those sculptures where I was like, if I have to do another one of these, I'm going to shoot myself. Like I just got, got really grossed out by it, which is weird, but whatever. And it was like, it happened right at the end. You know, I was almost done and I'm like, I just can't do another one of these ever again. I'm like, well, gee, really? And I was like, yep, we're done. So then I was on this roll. And I was sick, you know, I had a cold. But it didn't matter. Didn't care. It doesn't care that I don't feel well and should be in bed. Oh no. It's got its own rhythm. And if I didn't feed it, I would have just lay there in bed awake thinking about what I was gonna do. You know what I mean? There was no rest that was gonna happen. So yeah, it's pretty cool. But I mean, the thing about it that also is that it doesn't, like, I don't know if it's going to continue or not. Probably, I don't think it will. You know, after the show, I don't have any other themes.
Unless we get Jeff to commit to another one next year.
Right, and then I guess I'd have to do a bunch more truth stuff,
which I think we should do.
Just be working on truth art forever.
Yeah, why not?
Yep. Anyway, it was very. I definitely felt like a conduit. Like I did not feel like it was my choice at all. And then on top of that, my work discovered that I can do certain things, and they've asked me to do something. So now I have that on top of everything else to do too. Art. I have to do graphic design, not exactly graphic design, but kind of artsy graphic design in Photoshop. By next week.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, oh god. Because I still have to, you know, this truth show stuff demands, like, you still, after the fun part is over with, I still have to figure out how I'm going to hang these things, you know, what I have to start, you know, putting the screw eyes in and figuring out, like, how I'm going to hang the sculptures and all that, and I have to do all that, which isn't fun. That's not the fun part.
Yeah.
So
I mean, got a lot of work to
a
do
lot of work.
for this show.
A lot of work to do for the show. Yes. How long
I
have
got
we been
paint.
working on it for?
Huh?
How long have we actually been working on it? 6
Long
months
time. While, yeah.
or more than 6 months? How long have we known about it?
At least I think we knew about it like 7 months before the show was going to happen. So maybe 10 months. I don't know. It's been a while. Because we found out about it in what, like November?
Was it
Yeah.
November? That's when we found out about it.
It was October or November, I think. I don't remember. But,
Yeah, it's amazing like how even though we've known about it and we've been working on it, it's still catching up. There's no that's another rhythm too, though, that you can't really defy. And the thing about I was interesting about what I was reading because those of us who have things that we like here that are like deteriorating rapidly right now
Mhm.
have discussed that this is part of just living on Earth is that things are born and they go through their hiatus and then they die. And we're like, no, this isn't going to die. We're going to make sure. And you know what? It's dying. Like, there's no way to prevent it from going through the stages that everything goes through here on Earth. The rhythm.
Well, the good news is if all things have rhythm, including societies, that means that maybe we're at the end of the pendulum swing and we're going to start swinging back towards freedom and peace. You know what I mean?
So I'm not sure. I think
It could be that we're like, you know, I had a discussion with my uncle earlier today on the way to the airport, and we were talking about how it's in order to have positive change, that the change has to come culturally within, like, right now it's like our culture is just to buy stuff to fit in. Basically, like if you have nice stuff, then you fit in with the, you know, people that you want to hang out with because you guys all have the same stuff. But like to a certain extent, but maybe we're gonna shift into something where we don't care about stuff anymore, and we just care about human life and health and happiness. Because like I think that it's like part of the problem we have now is just culturally we're like sold like this fake American dream that you're going to have a nice house, nice car, nice family, nice all this stuff, and all that stuff pretty much is all material. And so if the American dream isn't material, then culturally things have to change culturally before we start getting more freedom.
Right, but I'm sorry to be a negative Nancy about this, but I just don't think we're at that. I think that, like if you look at the Soviet Union and stuff like that, different fascist states, they actually had to be under fascist rule for a while, like however long the wall was up for,
Uh-huh.
or East Germany, or um, that actually was in place for a while. I don't know how long, 20 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I think we're going to have to go all the way. I don't think we get to stop because we're just, I don't see it anyway. I don't see it because, I mean, like, there's just not that desperation in the community to, because right now we should, if we were really desperate in the community right now, we would all be building away, building a simultaneous system. And that's not happening. Like, I mean, I went to teach my class Monday night after we took Memorial Day off, which I was not well anyway, so it was fine. But then nobody showed up,
Huh.
and I'm like, what the hell? And nobody told me that they weren't going to show up either. They just did not show up, and so I was there. One other person showed up, but she didn't have a hotspot, so we couldn't do anything because I needed the internet. and I don't have that ability to use my phone as a hotspot. And so I'm like, well, obviously people don't take this that seriously. Like to them, it's not that important yet. Like it's still not that important yet. So what
Yeah.
all has to happen for it to
Maybe
become?
we're not quite at the end of the pendulum swing yet.
That's what
So
I feel like. No, doesn't seem like we are. Which, you know, is a drag. But you know, that's unfortunately. And we've all been. It's like we don't say, oh, gee, I can see that the shit's, shit hitting the fan is inevitable, so let me get a jump on it. No, we're going to wait until it actually does before we
uh,
actually, on the whole. I mean, some of us are doing stuff, you know, but on the whole, people are just acting like everything's okay and doing their thing, you know,
mm-hmm.
and it's a bummer. I think it's a
Yeah.
bummer. Yeah.
I know it is.
But you know, whatever. I mean, that's like you just can do what you can do, and it's what's weird to me is like, I mean, should we since we know it's the law of rhythm, should we just like go into hell in a bucket? But at least I'm enjoying the ride, and just you know give up on trying to you know do good things and
No,
no.
no, we should never give up because that
Right,
would be wrong.
right. Because I mean, I think if I just threw in the towel and just said fuck it, since I'm going to leave it up to you know the natural rhythms of the earth, there's no guarantees that. I think part of it has to do with us who want it to change. Like I couldn't just throw in the towel and say, well, I'm just going to let the earth take care of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It might not get taken care of then. Who knows? Am I still muffled? Do I still sound
A
muffled?
little bit.
I don't
I can
know.
hear you fine, but it just seems like different than normal.
Well,
Than
well, you know, I cut those headphones. I had to get new
oh
headphones.
yeah,
So.
that's probably fine. I mean, I can hear you. It just you just seem like you're not quite as loud as you used to be. Maybe the mic's not turned up all the way or something. But I can hear you, so it's not that big a deal.
Except now. I know. But yeah, I don't know. It is kind of frustrating. I couldn't believe it. Only me and this other chick showed up, and she's the one. She and I are the only ones that ever show up. And it's
Yeah, that's
like,
just kind of weird. I don't know. I think it's weird at least. I don't know.
yeah, I thought it was fucking weird too, especially because my one friend who said he was gonna bring a hotspot didn't show up, and then I'm texting texted him, and he's like, "Oh, I'm in Yellowstone on vacation," and I'm like, thanks for letting me know.
Right?
I didn't say that, but I thought it to myself. I thought, wow, dude, you're one of the ones who always complains about how nobody shows up, but here you are in Yellowstone on vacation after telling me you were going to bring a hotspot.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's just weird. It's like, well, I guess how I feel about it is like I will.
Maybe it's just people also they're like, oh well, all the like COVID stuff is going away, so maybe we don't need the PMA thing anymore and everything's going back to normal, so we don't need to pursue this right now anymore. I don't know.
I don't know. That's not what they said last time, but
I don't think that's good way to do it, I would say no, go keep going forward and get these PMAs going, because if something, if they try to pull another move, then at least you're already like in the PMA and you're like, no, I already have this. Ooh, this is private membership. We don't have to follow that crap, you know?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna keep doing it. And I'm
So it's
sure
better
they
to
will
just
be
have
back.
it implemented. So if the crap does come back, or even a different form of crap that is completely different, then at least you're like already in the private and you're not scrambling. Oh shit, I have to freaking get back into this PMA thing again because the Nazis are back in town, you know, or whatever.
Oh, I'm sure they'll be back in November or whenever, October. I mean, the monkeypox thing I thought was the latest, you know, because I saw um, a few people overreacting and wearing masks around here recently. Like there was a show that we were going to go to talking about it at Red Rocks. And we found out that you had to wear masks and be jabbed to go. And we weren't sure if it was like the new monkeypox bullshit or whether it was just the band that has completely sold out and become
Right.
self-righteous lefties, which I think is what has happened. But they live in Brooklyn, so it's probably pretty easy to go that route. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I texted everybody and I was like, so, do we still want to do this or what?
Right.
They all claim that, that was just an anomaly. But I knew, see, if we were going to take off for Memorial Day, that it was going to cause that. But that's what they wanted, so.
I know it's always that momentum killers when you take off. Like I remember, who was it? It was some speech or something. It was from that Elon Musk or whatever, that Tesla dude. And he's like, yeah, vacation is absolute freaking murder for entrepreneurs. He's like, and he listed all these things. He's like, the first vacation I took, I got voted off the board of directors from the first company I ever started. It's like, and then like he's like, every time I take a vacation, all this bad shit happens with his companies that he has to come back and fix when he gets back. So it's just like that momentum kill. Like it's if you stop doing something, that's why we can't stop doing, like you were saying, oh, maybe I should just stop and like let the natural pendulum swing of the society and stuff. It's like, no, if you stop, then all momentum will be lost and you'll have to basically start over again.
Right. I mean, you can't just leave it up to the earth, because the earth could, like, people say this shit all the time. They say, oh, God's gonna take care of it. I don't have to do anything because God's gonna take care of it. Yeah, God will take care of it. There'll be an ice age for like a few million years, and then maybe we'll get restarted if we let God take care of it. Not saying that that's wrong, but don't abdicate your responsibility and think everything's just going to be hunky dory because you abdicated. It's like if you
it's like,
then you're basically saying, okay, let's go extinct for a while.
Yeah. Or it's like the whole thing where people are like, or it's like, it's funny, like, because this has already been told to us in like the whole Noah Ark story. It's like that whole story was basically God was mad at humans, and so he caused the flood to wipe most of them out. So they would have to restart, and maybe that they would restart in a better manner than they had the last time. Well, the same thing might happen again. Like, hey, these humans are freaking on the wrong track again. I got to start them over again.
Well, I would say that quote unquote God would be someone like Enki or Enlil. That was the god that caused the flood.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, it's like we're smart enough creatures. We should be able to get our acts together and be able to live in harmony with each other and this earth. But I don't know. It's like that whole idea of ego has humanity. Humans don't have an ego. Ego has humans.
Right.
So it's like as soon as we can move past that and get along and we can share with each other, then we're good. And that's all cultural stuff that has to happen. It has nothing to do with like some of this other crap that people think are going to save the world. Like, oh, money. If we just had more money, then we could do everything. No.
Oh yeah, this cryptocurrency.
People's minds have to change, and we have to change things culturally. Right now we have people like striving so they can, have the biggest mansion or whatever. Keep up with everyone wants to keep up with the Johnsons or whatever. You know what I mean? And it's like it's all materialistic bullshit that freaking is wasting resources. So as soon as we can move past that and be like, fuck, dude, I could, instead of spending hours of time making a bunch of plastic crap bullshit, maybe we should spend our time like making food, growing food instead. Then everyone does, and then, half the people on the planet don't have to starve or wonder where their next meal is going to come from. But yeah, I mean, rhythm is everywhere. We have the rhythm. Just our breathing is a rhythm. Our just the way the days, night, day, rhythm. Our freedom, slavery, rhythm.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That's the weird thing. Like, have we been free at all for a long time? I don't think so. I think it's been like a long time.
A while.
Yeah, a few 100,000. I would say.
Rhythm. Dog goes inside. Dog goes outside.
Oh yeah, got dog. Dog
goes inside.
In, out, in. I want to come in. I want to go out. I want to come in. I know. I have a dog.
Rhythm. Man, I need to like just come in here and clean out all my palette and all kinds of my painting shit is just all trashed. I've been
have you not started
like that every once in a while. What?
You're cleaning. You're cleaning now. You're not actually cleaning.
Well, I'm about ready to start painting. It took me a little while to get stuff, and now I realized I forgot my Citrusol at home.
No,
that's okay because I have. Like, suppose I could just dump some terpenoid in there. That would get me through the night at least. I need to clean out my brush washing vessel soon anyways, because it's freaking, I haven't cleaned it since we started painting like 6 months ago.
Well, you could probably see my studio. It's totally trashed. I actually did clean it up a little bit.
I'm going to do some chemistry. I'm going to see what happens if I cut my Citrusol that's left in my thing with some turpentine.
That'll be interesting.
Let's see if you hear a loud blast and you don't see me for a while, you'll know there's a chemical explosion. Ever since I started using this Citrusol, I do like it a lot more than the turpentine.
Yeah. I'm using acrylic right now, which is so not me at all, but I don't know. Something I think it's probably because my oil paint is at your mom. And I never got up there because I was sick. So I just
Not
said, all
bad.
right, I'm surrendering. Huh?
Acrylic's not bad.
Yeah, I just never have actually embraced
It's like if you
acrylic.
get too much water on your canvas, it doesn't want to stick to the canvas. That gets annoying.
Well, I'm kind of using it like wash. I'm not really using it like
Right.
all the time clean. Yeah, no, I'm surprised. I actually went to the store and bought like a big set of all the colors Electrotex makes of the whatever. I mean, they have several different kinds of things, I guess, that they call different things. I don't know, but I bought like 50 colors yesterday. I was like, all right, I'm gonna pay
Nice.
for it. I just never have actually used it, and it's good. It's all right. It is. It's like using thick watercolor gouache kind of. I just have been against it, but then again, the other thing is I the cadmium's not going to hurt me the way the oil cadmium will,
Yeah.
because I have some oil cadmium here that did actually make me ill.
Uh-huh.
So, so yeah, I mean that's. I did feel like I was selling out though. I have to admit, but oh well, that's the way it is.
It's the way it is.
It is because sudden, I mean, I'm like, how am I going to do 6 paintings in one, like, few weeks here? They got to dry fast. That's all. I can't believe I did this way, but it's just totally crazy.
It's
It's
the
just
way it
not my,
goes.
it's not my, doesn't have anything to do with my choice.
Sometimes you just got to roll with it like that.
It's so crazy because, we started, I had this whole plan of how this whole thing was going to work. Oh, yeah.
Joke's on you,
Yeah,
Miss Planner.
I know. It's
She's
like,
got stuff all planned out.
who are you talking to? The art spirit you're talking to it.
Art Spirit had another thing in mind for you.
Apparently. And I had exactly the right number of cupboard doors too.
Good.
So I was like, okay, well,
Perfect.
it seems like it was planned for me.
Good idea. Just go buy some freaking, just go buy Habitat and buy some, just be like, oh, I just want the doors.
Yeah, well, these came off somebody, you can find them on the street. These I don't think, I think Kurt got these from some customer or something.
Well, because people just, to save money, they'll just replace the doors on the cabinets.
Oh, that's right.
And then like,
they're
don't have to do all new cabinets. You can just do the doors.
Right, that's true. I know those companies that do that. But yeah, I've had these for a while. These happen to be really nice ones. I've had some crappy ones.
They look nice.
Yeah, it's just a nice alternative because it looks like it's framed.
Yeah. I like it.
Joanna's alternative to paying for framing. There's many ways
Maybe
to be.
for that next couple, if I do any more paintings, which I'm planning on doing for this, I'll do that. I'll get some cabinet doors to do them on, and then I won't have to worry about the framing. They'll already be framed. Just paint them black, pre-paint them all black first, and then just around the edge or whatever, and then boom.
Boom. Yeah.
Good to go. Fuck it. I can just gesso the board and just be like painting on a board instead of canvas.
Yeah, exactly.
Fine with me. I actually like that. Sometimes it's a little smoother. Your paint usually doesn't get sucked up as much.
Yeah, I admit that I didn't even gesso them, honestly. I just started painting directly on it.
Yeah,
so hopefully
It'll be
Yeah,
all
I
right.
got some varnish. I got some acrylic varnish yesterday that I like. So I'm I actually got matte glossy, and I didn't know if I was gonna like it or not, but I do like it. Yeah, it seems like it's gonna protect.
Gonna work out. Looks like it's
Yes,
gonna work out then.
yes, protect it. For my slobbiness, my unplanned slobbiness. Because when the spirit says it's time, you don't have that much time to go. Oh, I think I'm gonna guess all these words. I'm gonna just take my time. No, not like that. It's like, nope.
Yeah, you got to be on point, man. If you have the inspiration, you just got to do it. Because then, like, if you wait a month, the inspiration might not be there anymore.
Yeah, no. It just came upon me.
Oh, it's weird.
It is weird. It's very weird, and I mean, I think I remember totally chasing this, because you get in this groove, right? And then when it leaves, it's like, oh my god, now what?
Yeah, you're like, what the fuck?
So I mean, it's a drag when that happens.
Oh yeah, that's too much. Oh well, that happens all the time. Getting a little sloppy in here.
So yeah, it's weird. It is weird. The arch thing.
But that's the rhythm, Inspired, not inspired. Inspired, not inspired.
Right, and then the professional artists have to work even if they're not inspired, which I'm sure you saw with that guy you were working for.
Oh yeah. But it's weird, like professional art like that. It's just like he's just like commercialized himself, and it's like I kind of feel bad for the guy sometimes, even though he's making decent money and stuff. It's just kind of like he kind of has to. He's just stuck in that. It's funny because I'd seen him try to bust into other niches, and he just like it's so hard for him to do it for some reason.
People wouldn't let him, probably. His audience won't let him.
No, they won't. But at the same time, when he tries to go into different audiences, they just he doesn't have the momentum in that sector. And well, he made the mistake of thinking he could do horse art and Western art. And I'm like, I told him right away, I'm like, dude, fucking everyone and their brother does Western art. Fucking good luck, dude.
Really?
Well, I don't know. Like, even like I was talking to this lady that like we had to bring one of his paintings over to because he freaking poked a hole in his painting by accident. So we had to take it to this restoration lady so she could fix it for him. And like, dude, like, she was saying like, oh, he wants to start painting horses. And she was like, good luck, dude. Everyone paints horses. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I would see horse paintings all the freaking time. They piss me off because I hate horses.
You hate horses?
Yeah.
The animal?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Well, I don't know if I hate. I just strongly dislike them.
Really? Oh.
Yeah, I've just had some bad experiences with them. You know how trauma does that to you.
Oh.
They're stubborn fuckers.
I'm a horse chick.
I mean, they're cool, but they're also not cool.
I don't know. I've never had any bad experiences with them. So.
Yeah, I had a friend that had them growing up, and I got kicked in the chest a couple times and backflipped off of them a couple times, and yeah. That happens to you enough times, and you kind of start getting over the novelty of riding a horse.
I don't know. I was raised with them, but I didn't ever have any bad experiences like that.
Maybe these were just extra spirited fucker horses, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure people. I'm sure people. I'm not saying whatever. But
Yeah. I mean, though, a lot of people love horses who are horse owners and stuff like that. Not me.
Got my cucumbers.
But anyway, back to the point
Rhythm.
was the idea that that poor guy trying to switch genres, but again, he would have to give up. He'd have to be willing to give up everything.
Yeah.
That's the real deal with it. You have to be willing to give up and be like for.
Well,
I
maybe
mean,
people too. They're just like, wait a minute, this guy does motor. Like he's at a Western show. They go to his website, and there's like 3 Western paintings. There's horse paintings and 80 motorcycle paintings. Oh, this guy's a motor. He's just trying to tap into another market. We're not letting them do that to our market.
Really, you think people actually think that way?
I don't know. Probably not. People are way too selfish to think that way. You're right.
I just don't think. Yeah, I don't think they think that way. People don't think that way.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But
People are way too selfish to think like that. Now that I think about it.
are you kidding
Right?
me? Are you joshing me right now? I just
Yeah.
don't think people think that way. Like, I just don't think they think somebody's trying to tap into a different market. I just don't. I think people aren't really educated in art that much.
Right.
In New York or somewhere. Here, I don't think people are very educated with regard to art.
Yeah, they're not educated enough to think that way.
I mean, this place is a very strange place. I found anyway when it comes to art, that's kind of very. I think it's Jeff's work is like pretty amazingly like he's from somewhere else. He's definitely not from Colorado. He seems like he's California or something. Like he's been exposed to. You kind of have to be able to get out and see what goes on, what kind of art is out there. Although there are some pretty interesting artists who come out of here too. That's another thing I've been educated about. I don't know. I think it's the recent scene that is sort of the Neanderthal. The recent art market. Which is very, which is another rhythm actually, right?
Sure. Definitely. Sorry about that. I got all kinds of background noise going on right now.
Okay, because your kids are there, right?
No. My sister's kids, they're just all being, I don't know what's going on.
Oh, so your wife is home. You guys you did all that in that tiny period of time. You actually got
Yeah.
the kids and your wife went home, and you jumped in your car and sped over to your mom's.
Yep. Oh yeah, and I didn't tell you, like, when we were leaving, before we left on our trip, like we had to go to, it was like my wife's last day of work and my daughter's last day of school, and they had a staff party for the teachers. So we went to the staff party, and then so I had to park on the side of the road, at the people's house where the staff party was. And so the idea is like, okay, we're going to leave the staff party and then go to my mother-in-law's house so she can drive us to the airport. And So I get in the car and I start driving, and then I hear something like clunk, 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 clunk,
Oh no.
like where we're driving, and there's a piece of like rusted fencing sticking out of the side of the tire.
No.
Yeah. So we're like, great. So I pull that out, and I was like,
Oh, jeez.
So I'm like, sweet. We're about 10 minutes from home. So I'm like, I bet we can make it there before the tire's completely flat. So I drive us all home. And then luckily my mother-in-law was at the staff party with us because she was working at the school too. And so she's like, we happened to have her car was already parked at our house. So we drive back to our house, grab my mother-in-law's car, go to her house, feed the cows, come back to my house, load all our luggage into my mother-in-law's car, and she drives us to the airport. So now I still have a flat tire to handle
Dude,
tomorrow.
that's hilarious.
So it's been sitting in the driveway with a flat tire for like 2 weeks.
Oh my God. That's hilarious. And you got there in time, obviously.
Yeah, we drove like home, and like by the time we got home, the tire's like halfway deflated. I'm like, well, I knew we could make it.
That's good.
It's just annoying, it's just funny.
Oh no, no. My worst nightmare. It's like I don't think I can change it. I would just have to pray and act like a girl.
I mean, it all worked out. We were actually to the airport like plenty early, and like it was fine or whatever. But it was just funny. Like here we are getting ready to leave on this big trip, and it's like a flat tire.
That's hilarious. And you had to go feed the cows too. That's also funny.
Yeah. So, because my father-in-law had that back surgery or whatever. But yeah, no, it's back. Everything seems to be back to normal now for the most part. So that's good.
Oh, your father-in-law had back surgery?
Yeah, everything's back. We're back.
Finally, this image is working. Oh my God. Some of these images, they just refuse to work with the sculpture. They just wouldn't work. And I really liked them. I was like, I really like this drawing. I just don't like what I did with it, so I'll have to try something else. Oh, jeez, so fresh. Just do that in here.
Yeah, it was a fun trip though. I had fun.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, except you had to fly like twice across the country. That Seattle to New York or wherever you went, Boston, must have been. That was 5 hours, right?
It's like 4.5 hours. It's pretty hardcore.
Yeah, I hate that because I used to fly from California to New York City all the time, every year. I know. I hated
Yeah,
that.
that's why it's not fun. Well, because you get over there and it's like you leave at like 10 o'clock at night, and then you get there, it's like freaking 6 a.m. already. But
No, you took the red eye.
Just basically lose like a whole night of sleep.
Right, and I can remember what it feels like to be in a plane. It's just so gross.
I hate riding on airplanes.
I'm sure it's no better now. It's just so cramped. It's a lot. In fact, in the old days, it was a lot nicer because they acted like they really cared about people back then. Remember we used to get food and everything.
Oh yeah, it's
Not like that anymore.
well they made the seats smaller for one thing, so it is actually more cramped than it used to be.
Yeah, I know.
So
It's really,
that's
yeah.
the problem.
It used to be like kind of fun when I was a kid, but not anymore.
Yeah, I feel like it's like the motion sickness just gets worse as you get older. So it's just like,
Yeah.
I have to take all this like meclizine crap,
I don't know if it is.
which is way better than Dramamine. Fuck, I don't even know why they freaking sell that shit as motion sickness medicine, because it's mostly allergy medicine.
Oh, probably to make you go to sleep. Benadryl, like a freebie.
Dude, it's fucked up, man. It's like the active ingredient in it is meclizine, and you can actually just get pure meclizine, which is non-drowsy and has hardly any of the other crap side effects Dramamine has. You know,
I don't know because I never take that stuff, so I don't really know.
that shit, that Dramamine shit, like I take that shit and I can't even sleep on that shit, dude. That shit will keep me up all night.
Oh, it's like an upper.
Dude, I don't know. That shit's like I don't know. It's messed up, man. But the meclizine is fine. Like I don't feel that weird restlessness with it.
Interesting.
Yeah, like the Dramamine, it gives me like these weird like muscle like shit where I like feel like just real like I just got to start like running a bunch and shit.
Yeah.
Like really like just restless. Like yeah, it just makes me like all restless. Fuck, I gotta go do some shit.
So it's got an upper. It's got like a caffeine in it.
Well, it like makes you drowsy for like the first 2 hours, and then it freaking you just like you can't. I don't know. Maybe I have an opposite. I think I'm just weird because coffee does that to me sometimes too. Like I'll slam like a couple like a cappuccino and I'll like fall asleep like right afterwards. And then like at 2 hours later, I wake up and I'm like wired for like 24 hours. It's weird.
Yeah, everybody's different.
That's why I don't drink that much caffeine, because it's just such a weird rhythm of up and down.
Yeah, it's always worked for me, so it still works for me as long as I don't overdo it. And I really depend on it. But I figured like should we run out or something, like should there be something that happens and we can't get caffeine, then I'll go off of it. Because for me to try to go off of it would suck so bad. I'd rather try to do it if I'm living in the country and I don't want to have to do it in the city. It gives me this terrible headache for like weeks and weeks and weeks. I'm like, nah, I'll put this off. I'm gonna put off this. But I don't drink like a ton of coffee either. I try to.
Dude, I don't know how these people that just drink coffee and shit all day, I don't even know how they freaking
Well, the energy drinks is even worse.
Or like I don't even know how these people like sleep at night and shit.
I think the energy drinks actually makes people go crazy. But I mean, I think that they want that. They want us to be like fucking nuts like that.
I don't know. It's weird. I don't know what I'm doing. We'll see if this looks anything like what I want it to. It's all fucked up.
It's fucked up.
I don't know. I was trying to do this gradient, and then I was like, oh, I'll do another gradient the other way. Yeah, it's not working out. That's okay.
I'm sure. I've been struggling with some of these pieces and I'm like this one, this is the one that I struggle with the most, I think, this one too. And it seems to be kind of
did this one first. That's okay.
Huh?
Oh, what I'm doing now, I probably should have did before I did what I did before. It's all right. I'm not going to worry about it. It'll be all good. It'll be all right. Don't worry. I fuck it up. The good thing about if you fuck shit up, you can always come and paint it back different later.
Right.
in a few days when you're not all jet lagged out.
Right. I just don't. I'm like in a state right now.
It's part of the rhythm of the painting, you know. Looks bad, looks good. Looks good, looks bad.
No, that's right.
Rhythm,
Yeah, right. That's funny.
Rhythm manifests on all paintings.
It's true. It's kind of funny. It's not funny. Nut drives me nuts. But I don't feel like I have all that much time
Oh fuck.
to
go looks good, looks bad, looks good.
Yeah, I just don't have time for that right now. I'm like, oh my god, because I still have a few paintings that have not. The answer hasn't I haven't cracked the answer yet. You know. And I feel stressed out. I feel like I can't make a bunch of plans to do a bunch of things. I'm like, nope, this is what I'm doing. Busy. Sorry, can't go do this and that. Gotta paint. Get it done. But
Do or die. The paint, man. We got a show coming up.
right, and that's the other thing I don't want to do. This would be a rhythm thing. I don't want to get all geared up for the show and then have that let down afterward.
Right?
Yes. I really do not want to do that. So that's why it'd be good to have like, okay, we just have next year's truth show to work on.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can just forget about the ending and be like, cool, next one, on to the next one.
Right.
Man, I wish oil paint was cheaper so you could just put like huge globs out like that Bob Ross used to do. Like that dude had like a whole tube of freaking paint like down on his palette for like each color.
Oh, right, that's true.
But it's just so fun to have that much out. I don't know.
Oh yeah, and then I've been panicking about that too. Like when I'm like, can't waste the paint, so I have to use it on something. What am I going to use this color on? If it's not going to be on this painting, I'll use it on another painting. And so I have them all going. I'm doing all the paintings at once.
Right.
Because I don't want to waste any paint.
Right. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, no, I would. I was a little worried before I left for our trip that there was going to be a lot stricter COVID stuff in Seattle and in Massachusetts for that matter. But it actually was. I didn't really notice a difference from there to here. I mean, they do have in Seattle. I did see more signs that said masks encouraged, but really, I would say like 75% of people were maskless, as in they weren't wearing them. So I thought that was great.
Yeah, I'm not sure that that's the case here.
What, really?
Well,
I don't see many people
walking around outside like by themselves with masks on.
Oh yeah, I saw that out there, and too. But it's like that's like maybe like 5% of the 25% that are still wearing them are doing that. No, I saw something completely ridiculous today, where like we're waiting to like get picked up at the airport, right? And this lady, like, she's waiting for her ride at the airport, right? And so she's not wearing a mask. As soon as her ride gets there, like the person in the car wasn't wearing a mask, right? that's picking them up. As soon as they get together and get in the car, when I see them drive off, they're both wearing masks in the car. I'm like,
What?
yeah, I was like, dude, you just went through a whole airport, no mask, and now you're gonna get in the car with your like friend or whatever, and you're gonna put one on. Like, what the? This is weird. That was just weird.
Well, I guess that's because they don't.
That was probably the weirdest thing I saw. But like, it's like,
Does that mean that they just don't trust each other?
I don't know.
If
Maybe
they're in a trapped in
maybe
a
one of
car.
them's like really paranoid or something. Who knows? I don't know
They're
what's going on.
trapped in a car together.
I don't know.
What-
Maybe I just didn't see everything, and the other lady had the mask on the whole time. I don't know, but it seemed like
No,
they
I'm
both
sure.
had masks, and then all of a sudden they both did have them, which I thought was kind of weird.
I'm
but
sure that you were right. I'm sure that's what you saw.
that's just me.
I'm sure there is a lot of fucking weirdness going on out there. And I'm not, like I try to be, I know that like the spiritual people or whatever say, well, you should try to be extra nice to those masked people because they're in a lot of fear. And instead I'm like, I just want to kill them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm nice and stuff. I'm not gonna like call anyone out. Hey, why are you still wearing a freaking mask? You hear that was dropped, But like at some level, you're kind of like, should I? Should I call them out?
No, I just don't want to talk to them. That's how I feel. I'm like, yeah, you're gross. You're one of the super fearful people. Like when I went to go pick up my pictures at Mike's camera down there in Golden,
Mhm.
there was one lady there who had like super long fake nails. Her hair was all done up like she went to the hairdresser. And she had like this super mask on, like, can you breathe in there?
Right?
And she's the one who waited on me, and I kind of wished, I was kind of like thinking, can I ask for someone else to wait on me, please? I just put my mouth shut.
Right?
But I was just like, yeah, that would be the type. Somebody who's all into the fake shit would buy into this crap.
That would make sense, right?
Yeah, kind of, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, I feel like it does. Like you're already fake, you might as well be faker all the way. You're already committed to being fake, you might as well go all the way,
Yeah,
right?
the emperor's not wearing clothes, so go for it.
Oh, I don't know. If you can be fake, you might as well be all the way fake, not just halfway fake.
I guess, yeah. I guess so. It's just weird, but I don't know. I guess there's a rhythm to that too, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Sick, not sick. Sick, not sick. There's a rhythm. That's even like just part of that life and death kind of rhythm too. Or the awake, asleep rhythm, you know? Like, are you awake or are you sleeping? To what degree are you awake?
Well, I mean, you gotta wonder. I wonder if, like, my family are awake in any way. What's the rhythm with that? I don't
What's the
know.
rhythm? Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Of the awakened of this, you know.
Maybe you have to wait till your next life in some
Yes,
cases.
that's kind of what I think. I kind of feel like that's gonna be the way it's gonna have to go. I mean, which is kind of why, I don't feel like I can just have a party now that I know that The earth's gonna take care of itself. Then can you imagine what Mark would say to that? Yeah, well, Mark, we don't need to.
Some people, yeah, some people are just like really calcified into their shit, and they ain't gonna change no matter what they see. You know what I mean?
Oh yes, for sure. I mean, it's weird because my brother had a quadruple bypass a few months ago now, I guess, and we my niece created a signal group for us all to be in on it with. Meanwhile, I haven't talked to my brother for 7 years or something, and ever since I was in California, that was the last time I really talked to him. But then we had like a big fight on Facebook over some stupid shit, because how social media is, and so we're all avidly paying attention to him for a while he goes through all this, and now it's completely dead. It's over. I'm still in the group, but he
Right.
reports to us to let us know what's going on with him. Like, he's home now, and I guess everything's fine. But it's like, well, you just go back to being like
communal.
Yeah. That was it. Like, I thought, oh, I had a moment. I was like, oh, are we gonna get to like become friends again or something? No, it was
Right.
only for that interval of the surgery.
Right.
Yeah, that's it. That's all we get.
That's funny. That's weird how that's how short people's attention spans are. It's just like,
Probably.
oh, there's bad things happening to this person, so let's pay attention to them while the bad things happening, and then as soon as they're okay again, then we can ignore them again.
Which is, I think he's fine with it. I think he's happy with that. I don't think he really wants.
Yeah, he probably doesn't want their attention. Maybe he thought it was weird. Why do all my siblings give a crap like all of a sudden when, I don't know.
Well, I mean, yeah,
I don't know, some level of that I'm sure goes out there.
but yeah, it's very strange. I was kind of bummed by it.
Yeah.
But I mean, what's the rhythm there? I think, like you said, I think it's another lifetime because these people are so sleeping that there's no.
Don't do that.
Looks like you're doing great with that grading.
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Just putting paint on the canvas and seeing what happens.
Well, you just got off a plane.
It's fun. Yeah, it's looking good though now. I like it. I could probably do that too. Change is good as long as it's in a good direction. Rhythm and the way you have to paint oil paintings without fucking them up.
Yeah, well, what I'm doing right now. See, I don't really have a very steady hand, so this is the perfect thing for me to be doing right now while I have to have a steady hand. So I'm talking to you. If I was doing this on my own, oh my God, I wouldn't be doing very good. This is why I wasn't a very good tattoo artist. You have to have a steady hand if you're going to be a tattoo artist.
Yeah, that thing's like, not only is your things shaking, but then people are moving and to keep the design looking
But yeah,
the way
I don't
people
have-
want it to look. Otherwise, they're like, hey, this doesn't look anything like what I wanted. Give me my money back. You permanently tattooed something I don't like on me. Like, dude, I told you to stay still. You kept moving.
that's good to- This is kind of like the mundane. I'm doing like a mundane kind of task here.
Uh-huh.
And it's better to have. Really touch it up. Yeah. Okay, I get that with it. It's not like that. Here's the one. Yeah, rhythm. I don't know. I am curious, but I think it's like what goes up must come down, and we're in the down part now. And I don't know how long it's gonna go on for. I don't know if we're gonna get to have an F in our lifetime or not. Well, you might, but in my lifetime, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Only time will tell, I guess. But I think the more effort we put into it, the more likely for it to happen it would be. I think.
Right, yeah, Passio talks about that, like that it's an act of will.
Great work, right? Well, what is the great work? Convincing everyone to give up all their governments and cultural beliefs so we can have better ones.
So we can have we can have small tribes. I think that's what we may have learned from this is that we have to have small tribes. That's the only thing that works here. If you're not going to have representative government, you have to be able to represent yourself, and you can only do that in a small tribe of under 150 people.
Yeah.
But the elites wanted us to do this so they could, make us.
I don't know. It's weird.
They knew that it wasn't going to work.
No, well, there's quotes from some of our founding fathers talking about the fact that democracy always murders itself, basically.
Yeah, I mean, well, we're not a democracy. I don't know how they convinced us that we were a democracy because we're not. We're a constitutional republic, but I guess by getting rid of civics.
It's weird. That's always been weird to me.
But you'd think people would have noticed, but it's probably not. One generation is probably all it took. Like if you think about like what the teachers are doing now, like I don't know. I haven't actually personally witnessed this, but I read about it on social media, like the teachers like convincing the students that they're transgender and shit like that. I mean, I cannot even believe that there's teachers that are participating in that crap. But have you encountered any?
It's been culturally accepted that that's a thing now, and so teachers are so brainwashed into the status quo political correctness that they're gonna follow whatever that is. Like, oh yeah, it's okay that you feel like you're a boy instead of a girl. Yeah.
Well, I was watching, actually, there's this girl.
Like, did you guys know that your son is really a girl?
Yeah, right. I mean, like there's this girl that is 23 who's speaking out against all of it right now, and I saw her. She's pretty amazing, and she said,
And
you
it's
know,
like,
they play off of this natural phenomenon of puberty where all kids feel weird, and then they say, well, if you feel weird, you're a trans. It's like,
yeah, no, all
no,
kids go through that
all,
awkward, weird
yeah,
thing, in their
exactly.
teens.
Yeah, but I mean, I can't believe that.
Well, what's happening is they're confusing two things. Because there's a perversion aspect of it, and then there's the mental aspect of it, like the psychological aspect. And they're getting, they're, because ultimately sex just feels good, right? So for the most part, can feel bad, I guess, but like the mental side of it is convincing your mind that you're the opposite gender, which I think is less healthy than the just wanting to get your rocks off side of it, which, I actually believe that all humans are bisexual by nature because of because of the sensational um, aspect of it, but there's also a thing called the law of attraction, which is built into nature, which attracts the negative force to the positive force, or the feminine to the masculine. And when you have someone who's mentally overwritten that natural law, then that's when you have like a homosexual versus like maybe a bisexual or whatever.
Oh, I don't know about that. I mean, I think some are actually biologically like that, but I don't think this whole. That doesn't mean that they want to go and have their body parts changed. Because you always want to be able to have that choice. If you find the
But
right
I
one,
don't think it's as black and white as they make you think it is, as
no.
people think it is, though, because like I feel like all people have a gay side and a straight side, right? And you know, part of that is mental, part of it is physical, part of it is, you know, it's
Well,
mostly just
I may have used
physical.
to felt that way, but I don't feel that way anymore.
Huh?
I felt like that when I was in my 20s, but I don't feel that way anymore.
Well, I know, because you just like you got over that, and maybe you did some experimenting. I don't know. I mean,
Living in New York City, man, you can try it
I
all.
I can admit to doing some experimenting in my 20s, and I came out of it on the straight side of things. But that doesn't mean it didn't feel good both ways. Like,
Yeah, it's weird. That was not a very
like
good.
when I kissed a man's lip, it wasn't any less soft than a woman's lip. You know what I mean? So it's, I think that's like kind of the physical aspect of it, though. So I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, it's just weird. It's just a weird thing that is being imposed on. But I know it's part of their
But like,
plan.
but I think that like there's an effort to nudge people in that direction more than there used to be.
Oh hell yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? They're like, oh, good news. Oh, you feel that way? Oh, well, great news. We have like this option. You can totally whack that off and get the other parts installed. No problem. It's just $100,000, but don't worry. Good news. We have all these loan programs and stuff that you can take care of that. In fact,
Is that a whole other part
oh,
of it?
oh, you said you weren't going to college. Oh, well, we can finance you instead of getting a college loan, you can get an operation loan.
Is that real?
Huh?
Is that part of it?
I don't know. It could be.
Well, I don't know. I would think you would probably know more about this than I do because I don't have kids, so I don't really know like what the teachers are trying to.
Well, I don't know what's going on really in the schools, but I do know that there may be a transgender teacher teaching at my wife's school next year,
Really?
which I have very mixed feelings about,
Really?
like it just, teachers are supposed to be role models, but guess what? It's equal opportunity. So they can't judge you if you're trans and you want to be a teacher. And so
Yeah.
she had a homosexual principal at one of her previous schools, which I don't necessarily, good for that principal, whatever. But like, is this the example that we want to be setting towards our young minds? They say, oh, athletes are responsible for like, keeping their cool because there's lots of young kids that have, athletes as heroes and stuff like that. But it's like teachers, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. That's all I have to say. Yeah. But back in the day, I would have been all for it, I'm sure. But I wasn't doing that good back then, so I think it has a lot to do with where you're at mentally.
Yeah, back in the day, I had less mixed feelings about that stuff. I was just like, yeah, whatever. But now I'm just like, yeah, I think if you are following nature and natural law, there are some big problems with homosexuality on the mental side of things. Physical is that's a little different, it's like.
Well, I think there are creatures that are born with both now and again.
Yeah, so I don't know.
We said, the principle of gender too. So, but I don't know. I don't know that part. I don't really care about that so much. Although I don't participate in. I used to hang out with that crowd, but I don't anymore. Because a lot of it's really fake.
That's what's weird about it. It's like it's fake,
It's extremely fake. A lot of it is so fake. It just makes me really feel weird, spooky, and strange. And I know there's a tranny in a group that I'm involved with, and most people don't seem to know that she is a male. I know it. I can see. It's just obvious. And I'm like, duh.
Right.
And it really annoys me. Like, it's annoying because I feel like it's dishonest in a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just find myself always, like, I have to really try hard to be nice to her.
Well, it's like you have like years too. Like now all of a sudden, like men can be women and women can be men. And you're like this someone who wants like kids and a family, and you get this girlfriend, and then like you get married, and then like 6 months, like, why can't you get pregnant? Oh, because I used to be a man. What?
What?
And then then you all of a sudden you have to get a divorce because it's like, no, I was getting a wife so I could have kids, and now I find out you're a man and you can't have kids. I was just gonna pull the adoption story on you and blah blah blah. It's like that shit's like freaking. How pissed would you be if that was like your goal, and then like all of a sudden you found out
They would never tell them. You don't think they would say it up front like that? I remember when I was in California.
Oh, they probably would, but maybe they wouldn't. Who knows? I remember watching like Jerry Springer, and like there was this exact situation where there's a guy, and he finds out his freaking girlfriend or his wife is a freaking transgender.
Jesus Christ.
And it was like the reason they have it on like Jerry Springer is because like who knows what's going to happen? Is he going to be accepting of it, or is he not going to be accepting of it? And like this tranny's all, or not this transgender person's all explaining the whole time. Like, I hope he doesn't like isn't mad at me and stuff. It's like I really should have, I made a mistake of not telling him earlier and da 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 da. It's like, dude, what the fuck,
Dude is right.
But like, I mean, like I'm sitting there watching that show and I'm thinking to myself, dude, I would fucking kick that fucker's ass probably if I found that out,
Yeah,
on
totally.
live television on Jerry Springer, like, fuck that shit. I would have been pissed.
Right,
of course, they want that on there too. They want you to go after each other and like have to break it up, because that happens all the time. That used to happen all the time on that show. Not that I watched it very much, just like a few times or whatever, but like mostly just because other people in the room I was in were watching it. But
no, I mean, yeah, it's like People Magazine, it's all about scandal.
that drama,
But no, I mean, when I was in
it's real if it's like, if it's you and your life,
Well, yeah, like I said, when I was in California in 2003, I was working at Amsterdam Arts, which is actually like this company now that makes art supplies. And it's the parent company down there in California. And I got asked out on a date by this guy. And I just didn't really know, whether I wanted to go out with him. And then somebody told me, oh, well, he's a girl. I'm like, well, that seals the deal right there. I don't need that hassle. I'm not really interested in getting into that with someone. I'm not going to go out with him.
Yeah, and I even had fears, like after seeing shit like that on the Jerry Springer show, I had like fears, like fuck, like is my girlfriend a guy, like or like is like how do I know? Like, is there a way to tell or something? You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, sometimes you can tell just by like facial structure and different stuff, but it's like,
well, my boyfriend is like not. He's such a real guy. You know what I mean? There's no way that, and that's part of why I like that, because it's like it's pretty obvious. Like you can't. It's not no metrosexual bullshit.
Right.
You don't know or whatever. I'm not into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I pretty much have a sixth sense when it comes to this stuff. Like I can tell him. I can tell who is what.
Yeah.
And this one person that I'm talking about, she has a lot of problems, and she's very sarcastic all the time. And it's like, I'm like, this is you're dishonest. You think we all think you're you say you are, but I know you're not. And she doesn't seem very happy. She seems very self-righteous and.
Well, sometimes when people are really sarcastic all the time and a lot, I feel like they're like just testing the waters and stuff, and like they're sometimes they're actually saying what they think, but then if the group that they're hanging out with is like, oh, that's poo that, then they're like, oh, never, like, just kidding, like I was just being sarcastic.
Oh yeah, no, but I mean, this is like a sarcastic tone of voice. You know what I mean?
Just like kind of like it's a way fake to fit in.
It's just a tone of voice, which it just indicates that they are very unhappy and dishonest. They're just faking it. Their life isn't real. And so whenever she says hi to me or whatever, I have to really work hard just to say, oh, hi. I just put on my customer service smile. But I can't talk to her. There was something I was going to try to. I thought I was going to try to say something serious to her at one point, but I just literally couldn't do it because I was like, well, you know what? There's not going to be a way that I'm going to be able to talk to this person without showing how much I absolutely just can't stand them because they're dishonest. So I just stay away from her. So basically, but yeah, that's a whole. I mean, that's to me. This whole thing is so the antithesis of natural law and the natural rhythms of the earth.
Yeah,
shows that the elites, they are not from Earth. They are from some other galaxy. They came here and decided to try and mess it up here
yeah.
for us. And they are messing it up. I mean, I'm sure it's going to go back. It'll go back eventually. But I heard I came across this one podcaster that claims that Rocky Horror Picture Show is a satire of what the elites are up to, and I was just like, oh my god,
Oh yeah.
because I used to go see that thing,
Well, it's like it feels like there's a force, or there's like a movement of people out there that want to like invert everything, and like people's gender, or like they invert. They want like stuff that's scary to not be scary, and stuff that's scary that is actually scary to not be scary, and then stuff that isn't actually scary to be scary. Like they want people to be afraid of cotton balls and attract themselves to razor blades.
That's a good way of putting it.
If that makes sense, right? It's like they want you to run in. They want you to run at the fire and run from the calming pool.
Right, no, that's exactly, that does seem to be true, that they,
Guess what? That is satanic inversion.
yeah.
So of course they're going to be like, oh yeah, we can have any genders we want, and guess what? We developed this surgery so we can do it now. And da, 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 da. Whoa! Ah! What's that noise? Whoa! I think something's going on with your mic. Got some weird stuff going on.
What do you mean?
There's like a bunch of static started coming in. I don't know if it's you or if it's me. Oh yeah. Yeah, something's up with your mic. I just had to mute you because it's like nonstop static. How's she frozen? Oh man, that's not good. Yeah, you might have to sign out and some come back in. I don't know what's going on. So, some technical glitch there. Not sure what's going on, but we'll have Joanna back with us here shortly. Hopefully that gets resolved. Let's see here. Okay, back to painting was. Next. Liberation. rhythm. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and read this. So we did this Natural Laws of Oil Painting book not too long ago. Joanna and I put this together. I'm gonna go ahead and read the rhythm section of this while we're waiting for Joanna to come back here. Everything flows in and out. Everything has its tides. Everything rises and falls. The pendulum swing is manifested in everything. Oh, that's much better.
How's that?
That's better.
How's
Like I
that?
can hear. Oh, you can. I can hear you better now
Can you hear
too.
me?
Yeah, you're less muffled now.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear
Can you
you.
hear me?
Yeah.
Huh? You can
Yes.
hear me.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. I can't hear you though.
That's
You're
weird. No, I shouldn't be muted. I'm not muted. No, I'm not. Can you hear me now?
Darn it. I wish I hadn't done that. Oh well.
Maybe your volume needs to be
I can't
turned
hear
up.
you, buddy.
Oh yeah.
You're muted. Muted. You are muted. Oh well.
Can you hear me now?
What's going on? Why can't I hear anything?
I shouldn't be muted.
Built-in USB headset. Let's put that on there. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Now I can hear you. Can I hear
You
you
can-
now? Yeah, there you are.
I can hear
Better?
you.
Is that better now?
Oh, you're much better. You're not muffled anymore.
Weird. I don't know.
Yeah, it was weird. All of a sudden you just like started like nonstop static. So
No. Yeah, I don't know. Nothing. I didn't do anything. I've just been sitting here. So
people
who
actually
knows?
watch these, I might consider editing that part out, but
Oh, okay.
just because I don't know what happened. Just all of a sudden you were just like, it's like, oh,
Really
what's that?
weird.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe it had something to do with the reason like that you kind of, remember I said you sounded a little muffled. Maybe it had something to do with that. And then it finally just totally went haywire. And
Maybe. I don't know.
you're back. The rhythm has swung back and we can hear you much better now. And it's
Oh, good.
not doing static all of a sudden randomly. And you can hear me again.
Yes.
So that was just while you're gone. I had started reading our little rhythm section in our free book that we made, the
Oh,
oil painting.
what does it say?
So I did all the the pendulum swings. Swing is manifest in everything. Painting is adding and subtracting, making things lighter or darker. The patterns create rhythm. It looks incorrect, it looks accurate. Back and forth. It is a balance. This is the progression your painting may go through during creation. Starting with the darks first, then bringing in the midtones, then layering on the lights is a good rhythm for oil painting. Gradation can add form to your painting, creating the illusion of a three-dimensional object on a two-dimensional surface. gradation shows the rhythm of various shades between polar opposites. You can lighten colors by adding white paint. You can darken colors by adding some black. A rainbow is the gradation of color. Do you see any gradations? And I was just asking people to look at the paintings and see if they see any gradations that are in the book. So yeah, it's that being said, I worked on some polarity. I guess I kind of have polarity and rhythm in this because I have some gradation, but I have the orange and the blue are opposites, and then the black and the white on for the positive and negative, light and dark. And so now I'm going to move on to the rhythm section of this, which I was thinking of doing something to illustrate rhythm. I haven't decided what yet.
No, I'm not doing anything to illustrate rhythm. I'm working on the
Yes, I know.
I'm just telling everyone
Yeah.
that I'm
Yep.
working on the inalienable right to your own lair. So I'm doing, I mean, it is kind of rhythmic, the pods, where the pods are all
Yeah.
hanging in this picture.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm doing that. This is one of the ones
Nice.
that's caused me like the greatest amount of problems.
Mhm.
But because I really liked the drawing, but I didn't like what I did with it. I destroyed it. So fortunately I had a picture of it though, and I could reprint it.
Mm.
And then I just thought, well, I'm just going to make pods hanging on a plant
That's good.
and have the pods from the drawing be the ones that reveal the layer of the seeds.
Nice.
The seeds layer. And I'm thinking I might actually try to either make a booklet that talks about each of these more in depth, because I
Cool.
don't think I'll have time to, or I don't know that I'll have the space on the hang tag to really go into it in depth. But just the
Okay.
idea that having your own lair is an inalienable right to me is very important right now.
I
That
agree.
homelessness is actually like a violation of natural law, I think is a very important piece of information that everyone should embody or understand, that, just because you don't fit into the system or whatever, you can't make money,
Right.
maybe like certain people can or whatever. That doesn't mean that that it's okay to not have a place to lay your head, because in nature,
Yeah.
everyone does.
Yeah. This earth is plenty big. I was noticing that while I was on my flight today. It was just like the rhythmic pattern of like going from like denser population to more rural population to like straight up where like you don't see any subdividing of roads or anything at all. Then back into the more urban subdivisions, and then seeing the rhythm of the patchwork of the farm, squares and circles. It's pretty interesting.
Right. And in
Yeah, I think
nature,
that's
go ahead.
yeah. In nature, you still do see a rhythm, but it's actually more rhythmic because you see like when you're flying over like the clouds, they're like in a rhythm, and then like you have the different, you see like the natural rhythm of the fractalized like shapes of like the way the land has settled and how the water affects the shape of the land, and like I noticed in like the areas that are largely untouched by man, you see more of that than the man areas are all gridded out and turned into squares and stuff.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
But everything in nature has a place to live.
Yeah, it does.
And I just feel like, pods are such a good example because they're
Well,
safe.
it's basically it's a technology to protect those seeds, which those seeds are the most important thing to that plant, because that's what's going to make it, regenerate in the next rhythmic cycle of the seasons.
Right. And we're of this earth. We're not, as much as they might like to trick us into believing we're not from here, we are actually from here.
We're of the earth, and that's why we need to live in harmony with the earth, not in competition with the earth. We need to live in rhythmic harmony with the earth, understanding her beautiful seasons and her beautiful days and nights.
Right. And that's what this one is about, the pods. And I actually like it. I actually do like this painting after all this hardship
Oh,
I went through with this image.
that's great.
So yeah. But maybe it is kind of a rhythm that it does seem like it. Even though, it's funny, every pod is a different shape.
Mm-hmm.
None of them are perfect, but they still create this beautiful rhythm.
They do.
I always feel like and you probably see this way more than I do because you live up there, but I always feel like when I walk in the forest, like the forest floor, it's totally it's not neat. It's not like, nothing's in its place or whatever, but everything looks perfect. Exactly the way it's
That's not
fallen.
neat. It's not neat, but it has its order to it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's cool. No, you're right, completely right.
It's like random in a way. It could be considered random, but it is not random at all. But how, I mean, it is expression of however whatever falls out of the trees and lands on the ground falls, but it always looks
Mhm.
beautifully perfect. Like the composition is always beautifully perfect.
Mhm.
It's amazing. It's truly amazing. But that's nature.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just
Be neat.
nature's
Nature's cool. I mean, pretty much everything we've learned as humans and so-called invented to make our lives easier it's all pretty much mimics nature in some way, shape, or form.
tell me.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you have like birds have wings, airplanes have wings. They both
Mm,
fly, or,
that's true.
you know, humans can compute things and computers can compute things. Or like, I don't know. There's other examples.
Yeah. But but unfortunately, a lot of the things that we use to make our lives supposedly easier causes harm to nature.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true.
And
Well,
that
it's
whole
part of that balance, you know.
right.
If you go against nature, you destroy nature. If you stay harmonious with nature, it still thrives, you know.
Yep, you're gonna sleep well. Do you think you'll have jet lag in this direction?
That's way
Would you?
easier to go west than it is to go east, I've found. What the? Yeah, I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's definitely easier to go west than east.
Because the sun sets in the west.
Yeah,
So you gain time.
yeah, you gain time instead of losing time. When you lose time, you're just all out of whack and you can't go to sleep at the right time. But when you gain time, it's like you're just extra tired, and so you want to go to sleep. Yeah, because it's almost so if it's like 7:30 ish, that means it's like 9:30 ish where I just came from. Which is fine because we stayed up quite late. Like we were pretty much on Colorado time the whole time we were on the East Coast.
Yeah, because you didn't really stay that long.
Well,
You
and
went.
we were staying up later anyways, just because of what we were doing, you know,
What were you doing?
just like hanging out with family and just like
Getting as much time in as possible.
exploring the Cape. Yeah. I mean, we made the mistake of not staying in the same town where all the stuff was happening. So it was
Oh
a little
darn.
it was a little bit of a drive back and forth every day. But that was fine because like we had like these other people were staying in the same hotel as us, and so they rented like a big van, and we'd like all carpool together.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
as those people, we went to California and stayed at their house over the summer.
Oh, good.
They were out there too, and so we stayed in the same hotel as them. So
Oh, that's
we were
nice.
able to. They rented a big van, and so we rented a car too, but we didn't have to drive it that much just because like we just carpooled with them in their van, which is great. Just they have a daughter that's my daughter's age, so they like
Oh, that's great.
each other and stuff. So
And where do they live normally?
California.
Oh, that's right. You told me that. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
Oh, no worries.
That's
We're all tired.
My only excuse
Yeah.
right now.
And you're concentrating on other stuff too. We're multitasking as usual.
Oh yeah, I've been crazily doing this art thing. Like
Nice.
I told Kurt that um he has this I have to deal with like I stay up so late, you know. So I was gonna try to deal with that. And then I told him I'll deal with it after the show's over with because I can't stop myself right now because I'm in this role.
Right?
Yeah, there's no way. Kidding me. No. It owns me. I'm telling you. It decides what I do.
Yeah. Decides when you sleep. It
It
decides when
decides
you're awake.
totally. I mean, and the thing about it is this time I'm hoping I just don't get addicted to it like I last time because, now I know it can go away. It's been gone for like 5 years. And I just
Uh-huh.
I can't live my life waiting for the muse to hit,
Exactly. I know
So
what you mean.
I just have to be grateful that it hit during the show to get everything done. But
You can't stop, because then if you stop, then you lost your muse, and then you'll lose your inspiration. So we got to keep it going,
yeah, I gotta keep it going.
keep
Exactly.
the
Do it.
momentum going,
Yeah.
keep doing
And
it.
but then, I just don't want to get to where like I'm chasing it. Because I can't
It'll
live
just
like
keep
that.
evolving. I think it's when you stop and you fall behind, that's when you feel like you have to start chasing it again. But if you just keep it going, then you just keep going,
Well,
and
how
you
do
just
after
go
the
to the next.
show, you just keep
Yeah,
like you mean just after the show, just keep going like for next year.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, definitely. And then if he doesn't want to have the show, then we'll just have our own truth show somewhere else. We'll figure it out.
I think he probably will. Because
I
he
think he
said
will too. I
he
think he
said
will.
I
He
was
said that was a
thinking
great idea, and he had already been thinking about it himself. So if that's
exactly.
the case, then we've got one in our favor. It's not just for us though; it's for him too. I think he's trying to do something. He's trying to have a place where uh, artists can help change our culture at a cultural level, because that's the level it has to be changed at, because that's the level people believe in.
But like if we did it next year or something, we could maybe do it for your mind conference or something.
Oh yeah, we could make
Do
it could be bigger, and it could have, like, I mean, it doesn't always have to be truth, but it could be the around that, like, freedom and truth theme kind of every year.
yeah, I mean we could have a real
I mean, and really his gallery is the perfect name for it. Blowback. I mean, isn't that what we're trying to do? Blow back the powers that be, and you know, govern them a little bit, blow them back. We're the pushback
yeah.
of the rhythm. There's always that give and take, but there's always that pushback that happens too. And so they're throwing their blows, and we're blown back with our art. I controlled myself, and I just took this blue and went the same direction the whole time with the brush in the
Yeah.
same pattern. And I
Yeah.
got a really nice rhythm and gradation going on here.
Wow, neat.
It kind of like it's striped a little bit, so I'm gonna just leave it like that. And then I think I'm gonna add like a bunch of like small. I was thinking of figuring out what Morse code for love was, and I was gonna do like the Morse code and dots in a rhythm that just goes love, 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 love.
That's a great idea.
And because the big dots will be like the hard thump, and then the little dots are like or wait, it's like fast. I don't know. I'll figure it out. The big ones will represent slow, and then the little dots will represent the fast clicks or whatever. I'll paint that Morse code for love. Maybe I'll even alternate it. Love, peace, or something like that. Or love, freedom, love, freedom. And then that'll be a rhythm of Morse code on the painting. I have to wait for this other thing to dry first, though. So I'm going to move on. Plus, we're closing in the
Are we
home
closing it?
stretch here. Unless you want to go past 8, since we started late.
I'm pretty beat, but it's up to
Yeah.
you.
That doesn't really matter. We'll just end it right around 8. I don't think it matters if it's a little short, whatever.
I mean,
What matters is we did it, and we're keeping the momentum going.
I appreciate that for sure.
We showed up, and we're doing it against all odds. I could have been easily like, oh yeah, I'm bagging it, like I'm still at the airport, blah, blah, blah. Nah, let's do it. Let's make it happen. I want to paint.
Well, I think I might actually be done. That's pretty amazing.
It's awesome.
Let's show it. Well, except
What
huh?
the hell did I paint on the outside of this? Because there's like, I still have so much space left on this painting after I get all the like, natural law principles in here. I still have all this other space.
Space.
I
You could
need,
put space. The final frontier.
I need to figure out what I'm going to do with all that. Maybe it can just be like a bunch of random fucking ones, just like all over the place. And then it gets all organized within the mind. Or
Yeah,
something.
maybe
I don't
so.
know. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, that was the one thing I was trying to avoid was doing painting within a square. But honestly, I really prefer it to. I don't
Kind
know.
of lets you where the boundaries of your universe or your painting are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Once you
mean,
know
I
what the
really,
boundaries are, you can like really use that to your advantage.
I really prefer to. I mean, I was listening to Hermes. I was saying, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna try not to use the square. Man, I really like a square. I really do, or a rectangle. A lot better.
They're nice.
So I don't know. I wonder about that. Like, does it mean that it contains the energy in such a way that it can't get out, or?
Well, the interesting, I'll have to draw this out for you sometime probably so you understand it better, is when you get enough circles, you end up with a cube.
What?
Or a square, yeah. I'll show you how you can draw that in with the flower of life, how you can turn it into a cube someday. It's pretty wild.
Oh, Metatron's cube.
Well, that's part of it, but like, yeah, you can make it into a cube. Like in the way, how you ended up, you end up with like the 6-sided geometry basically. Well, you have to, when you draw a cube, it's it's the same, that 6-sided shape. Like in 3 dimensions. It's pretty wild how that happens. So it's like the circles make the square or the cube.
So does that mean that the cube, that there actually is cubes in nature? I think there actually is, like in crystals.
Well, they always say nature doesn't do straight lines, but I've seen some really straight freaking trees, and that's a straight line, and so.
Yeah, I know. I have seen straight lines in nature, so I think that's a nice idea, but that's not real.
I think that's just like them trying to like be like, oh well, this landscaping isn't done by nature because it's too straight, so it has to be done by some sort of like intelligence. And then they can be like, oh, look at this pattern on Mars. Now, that has to be either we went up there and made that, or ET's made that.
You mean like the hexagram?
Yeah, it's like you're like, I think that in some ways they're just trying to use that as an excuse to verify their theory of ETs or something. I mean, because that's usually the only place you hear that is when you're doing UFO research, and they're like, we can tell that this part of the moon had to have been excavated by man or an intelligent because of the way it looks, because nature never does that, those kind of straight lines.
But nature does, I mean, in crystalline forms.
Yeah, like the edges of crystals, but maybe like not in landscape. I can get that, like in actual, like the way topography and stuff like that happens. Maybe it doesn't do straight lines necessarily, but I feel like it still might. In some situations it just might not be that long of a straight line, but so I don't know. But
I don't know. I don't know.
But I mean,
either,
if you look at I mean, some trees aren't very straight, but there's some trees, and it's like lodgepole pines. Why do you think they call them lodgepole? Because they're so freaking straight and like thin, and they're like really good for making lodges out of. It's just like you cut down a
Right.
bunch of them, they're like nice and like pretty uniform. They're like not like they don't get too pointy, or when they do get pointy, it kind of happens fast. So you have like this nice, like consistent piece of wood. You just cut the limbs off and you can build with that really easily without having to do like a bunch of milling and stuff.
Yep.
And who's to say like some beavers or something got together and freaking built out some shit and it caused like the irrigation to do some funky thing where it made straight lines, and then that region dried up, and now all of a sudden there's these like weird straight topographical lines, and it was just from beaver dams made them hundreds of thousands of years ago. Who knows?
Right. For sure.
but rhythm is good.
Rhythm.
And like I've heard this theory of like cycles too, where they like even with like pandemics and stuff, they can be traced in like a cyclical form, like even natural disasters, all the things, like eventually it's like it's part of this law of rhythm, like and we can make nuanced changes to that rhythm. So like maybe the whatever's coming isn't going to be as bad as it was the last time or whatever, but it's just kind of like that rhythm. Even as an artist, being inspired and then not inspired and then having that inspiration again. And I feel like even some of these professional artists who they have to just keep painting no matter what, you can tell, like I can definitely tell like my old boss's paintings that were more inspired. I could tell the difference between those ones and the ones that he wasn't as inspired by. You know what I mean? It's noticeable in the artwork itself.
Right. No, that's true. Like, I mean, I'm going to have to force myself to do that graphic design work, but I'll get into it.
Yeah. There's different ways you can find to get into it,
It's not what I want to do, but, I will be disciplined in my,
Yeah.
and I'll find, I'll find creativity in there. But yes, I mean, I don't know when I'm not inspired, people know, like my work just sucks
Right.
when I'm not.
When you're not feeling it.
Yeah. Or when I'm trying to do something for something and I'm not,
Uh-huh.
I can't catch the wave or whatever.
Right.
So it is kind of admirable that he can still do it even though he's sick of it.
Yeah, there's some admiration and stuff, but yeah, it's
But I mean, this is, again,
it's just that
who it's
money,
the money.
money controls, right? Money. The money. Cult of the Mon. Nice. Oh, cool. I dipped my hand in yellow paint. That's fun.
You what?
I just dipped my hand in yellow paint by accident.
A bummer.
It's always fun.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
That happens.
Especially like, so one of these pieces that I did early on just completely fell apart yesterday. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, it was hilarious. It was like I did it with an encaustic and it totally didn't, like, it did not adhere at all. And
Uh-huh.
I had used cadmium it was like Utrecht cadmium yellow medium, and it was very full of cadmium, right?
Yeah.
It had made me sick a long time ago. And I had done a bunch of this sun's rays with that, and I was like, okay, well, now what am I going to do? And so what I did was I basically took the heat gun and burned it all off basically and wiped it down. And then I'm
Oh yeah.
like, oh shit, I'm activating this freaking cadmium. So I went outside because I'm like, eek. This, it was sealed in wax, but now it's going to be live again.
Right.
I took it outside and got rid of it.
Let it dissipate
Hopefully.
for a while.
Yeah, and because that stuff is like harsh. It was the first time I'd ever gotten sick from oil paint in my whole life.
Yeah.
I was like, well, yeah, and I didn't even know it was wrong. This was a few years ago. I guess I was probably eating it as usual, right? You know how you do when you're painting.
Right.
And I'm like, why do I feel so weird? And somebody's like, my friend at the time, who's no longer my friend, this is the one who is not speaking to me because I don't wear a mask. In New York, she's like, maybe it's the oil paint. Joanna, have you thought about the oil? It might be the oil paint. I'm like, no, I never thought of that. But she was right. It was the oil paint. So yeah. So I scraped it all down and I'm going to see if I can make it work. I mean, I'm totally violating the laws of physics with this piece because you can't ever get all the wax off, once it's on there.
Right.
But I'm like, well, I'm going to try to get as much off as I can. And then I'm going to try to use this because I'm not going to make another one.
Right.
And I'm going to use a hot glue gun to glue it down. See if that works.
What is it on?
Well, it's one of the sculptures, and so
yeah.
It's a cardboard, but the piece, the artwork, is completely inundated with wax now. But I ended up putting a layer of acrylic paint on the back of it, so I might be able to just glue it down with Mod Podge or something. But
Right.
I don't trust it. I really don't trust it because
PVA glue or something like that. Wax, that might not work.
I'm gonna use hot glue, I think.
Cool.
That should
Gorilla
work.
glue.
Huh?
Gorilla glue. No, I'm just joking.
I mean, again, like my feeling about the sculptures is the sculptures suck. That's how I feel. They suck. I mean, they don't really suck, but I don't know. I'm not crazy about them. But maybe they'll all look good together. I don't know. We'll see.
No, I thought they were looking kind of cool. But if they're falling apart, that's no good.
Just the one fell apart. The other one is just the ones that were warped. I'm like, I'm not showing these. Forget it. Only the small ones worked. But
well, it's what it is.
It is what it is, 6 of them and 6 of the other ones. It'll be fine.
Yeah. It'll be all right. At least it's balanced.
Right. Well, I had to salvage this one in order for it to be balanced. But I have to figure it out still. I haven't. I could do it now, but we're coming up on the top of the hour, so I have to plug in the hot glue gun and do it.
Yeah.
Oh, are you going to do it now? So whatever, you're going to put something on the bottom?
I don't know. I just started painting a solid color in here just to get rid of the white. I picked like this weird purple color for now. So yeah, we're just gonna roll with that for now, and I can always paint over all this purple if I want to, but at least it's just not all white now anymore. I hate white. Well, I don't hate white. It's just distracting. It's like so white out there, and it's just like distracting to my eye. I need to like tone it back a little bit so it's not so distracting. It's like I'm like painting and it's like just distracting. Fuck, I can't look past it.
Right. No, I understand.
So I just got to like do something about
That
it.
is a pretty cool, very cool painting.
Just got to do something about it right quick, you know. Now I've done it. Now I got plenty of that color though, at least. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of this color in here, and then I'll kill this stream of ours, and we'll call it a night here in a few minutes. Yeah, it was good. We had some tangents tonight, but I think rhythm is such a broad topic. There's like a lot of things, like, you know, well, I guess everything has a rhythm, but yeah, it's proven.
Well, I mean, I think the most important thing about it right now, for me anyway, is just to recognize that you can't move against the rhythm. Like there is a rhythm here, which is birth, life, and death, and it's going to happen to everything. And I definitely was trying to hold on to a certain thing, which is going to go through its death period too.
Sure.
And then it can be reborn, and maybe it'll be reborn in my lifetime, but I don't know if it will. And it doesn't really matter. It probably will be reborn somehow, but I mean, because it's based on natural law, so it will come back. But whether it comes back in my lifetime, right now it's still dying, and it's just really depressing. But it's just a natural
rhythmic
rhythm.
pattern, and it'll resolve itself eventually. And if we don't see it in our lives, it might be in our next life we'll see it.
Right. I mean, but I'm not going to quit, like, you know, trying to carry those embers, those glowing embers. I'm not going to try to quit. You know, I can't quit trying to carry those glowing embers. I'm not going to just say, oh, well, fuck it. You know,
you're not throwing in the towel. You're just,
I'm just accepting that it's
methodically,
like,
you're accepting what the reality is, but you're going to keep methodically doing your part to help make things better, as I'm going to do.
Exactly.
Because if you give up, then it will.
Well, I mean, there is always the chance that
will swing wider.
Yeah, I think it could go into much deeper entropy if people give up. You know, I think that you know,
definitely, I think you're right.
If you look at something like East Germany or the USSR, those things may have lasted maybe 20 years or something like that. But I'm sure there were people working towards their reversal the whole time. And if they hadn't been, I don't know if the West, if the world would have allowed them to stay like that. I mean, the thing with the globalists that's so disturbing is that they believe that if they take the whole world into this fascist state, then there will be nothing else. But they don't take into consideration the laws.
Yeah, then nature
will.
They're trying to control the natural laws when they can't actually really have full control of them because they're too dim, and they're, you know, output, really. You know, it's
But
kind of like, it's almost like the same analogy as like how you were talking about, you like to paint in the confines of the canvas because you know what all the parameters are in that rectangle shape, you know where you put things to make them look good. But if you're just constantly moving outward, you like don't really know what the parameters, and so it's difficult to come with like a nice unified piece at the end of it. You know, it's kind of like the same thing in society. It's like humanity, we don't even know our fully what our parameters are, but we're trying to control them. You know, it's like there are restraints and things that are confining humanity in the state of being human, but like we don't even fully know what all those constraints are, but we think we do, and we think we're gonna like we can control them when we don't really have control of it because of certain laws like rhythm and stuff like that.
exactly.
Because as much as we try to fight the rhythm, the current is the current, and so we can't, you know what I mean? Eventually the current's going to take over. And I feel like with all this inversion that they're trying to impose on us, the current of just how stuff is supposed to be not inverted is ultimately going to take over, you know, eventually, because there's just too much resistance if you try to invert too many things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can just see they've pushed it too far. People are resisting. I don't think people are going to back down from this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping that they're going to become more awakened and get out more and do more soon.
Yeah.
I'm imagining it should happen that way.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, the more pain. And that's a weird thing too. I wonder about that. Like, is that part of the law?
It's kind
That
of
you
like,
have
yeah,
to
it's
have-
like you have to have enough pain before you decide to change. You know, it's kind of like you're not going to go to the dentist and get your tooth fixed until it's actually absolutely you're out of your mind with pain. No. Like you're not going to fix the problem when it's small. You're going to wait until it's big and then fix it, if it's even fixable at that point. Oh, well, that's much better not having all that white there. So
Yeah, it is much better.
that being said, I guess we can close this one out. We will be here next week. We will be talking about cause and effect, I believe. Let me just check my notes here. Yep, cause and effect is next, and then we will be talking about gender the next week after that. So cause and effect will be a fun one. There's a lot to that, you know. And yeah, looking forward to next week. I hope me and Joanna are both more rested by then, and we'll have a lot of fun conversation planned for y'all. If you want to get any more information or see any of our other shows we've done, you can go to drawingnaturein.com, and there's that. Some of that stuff is on there. You can click around on there. You can do our free consultation, if you want to be a part of what we're doing here, we can get you all the information, the details for how you can do that. And if you don't feel like your artistic confidence is at a level that you can join the conversation with us, we do teach art as well, and we can get you up to that level of confidence through our, a course, one of our courses. And so, yeah, that being said, we'll see you next week. Unless Joanna has anything else to add.
I'm done. Sounds good.
We'll talk to you soon.